What's up, y'all? Welcome to another Talk Tuesday. Today's episode is about my writing process as it relates to a song. Let's hop right in. The first thing I start with when I write a song is usually the chorus. And so I'll listen to the beat a few times and I'll try to see what's in there and what sounds good, play around with different rhyme schemes, kind of just try to hear what I would want to hear as like a fan on the beat. So that's kind of where I start. If the song itself is a story, the chorus is like the heartbeat. The chorus is what's gonna really hold people's attention. And it's gonna really keep pushing the narrative along, whatever it is. And so it's really important that the chorus really hooks you. And that's something that's new for me, relatively new, because I've really honed in on songwriting as of late. The other thing I try to focus on when I'm writing a song, especially as it relates to the chorus, is keep things simple. I tend to write complex anyway, just naturally, so I try to really not make something dumb, but how can you say something super deep, but in a simple way? That's what I try to do. I try to get conveyed what I want conveyed in a simplistic way that people can sing along to, but in something that's gonna stick with you and something that has meaning, because I'm not really interested in songs that don't have a lot of meaning. So I start writing the first verse, and then sometimes, like I just wrote a song a few days ago, and the first verse, I completed that, and I didn't really have a second verse. And I just started thinking about, oh, okay. And then as I started writing the second verse, it started to really kind of bridge the gap between the first verse and the chorus into the second verse. And it just started to become a different point of view. And sometimes that'll happen. So sometimes my writing will just take me somewhere. And it still has to make sense, obviously. All my lines make sense. All my lines have meaning. I don't just write just to write. Which somebody asked me that before on some of my complex stuff, like, are you just saying words that rhyme with each other? No, there's definitely a meaning, and I definitely have a theme and somewhere I'm going with that theme. I'll consider different things, but typically I write, and this is where writer's block comes in. A lot of people have writer's block when they just don't give themselves like a mental permission to just write for a little bit. Like just, because typically we are the block. That's what I tell people. So when we have writer's block, we're being extra critical of what we're writing in this moment, in this particular moment in our writing session. And it's important for us to just kind of let things flow. Even if you want to say, okay, I'm gonna give myself 5 minutes, I'm gonna write crazy stuff, whatever I want to write, I'm gonna just write it. And language arts, like social studies, we would practice this, like it was like a free writing, so I will write. And then if you want to go back and edit what you wrote, or if you want to change the direction or do whatever, then you give yourself permission to do so. But it's like, as a writer, especially if you're a perfectionist like me, it's easy to get into a place where you won't write anything. And so that's how I've broken out of that. And once I learned that from like some YouTuber I found, once I figured that out, I haven't had any trouble since. Very rarely do I go back and erase something. And I'm not saying that obviously in a braggadocious way or anything like that, but I'm just kind of the overthinker that once I put it on paper, or digital paper in this case, once I put the thought down, I like where it is. Very rarely do I say, okay, this doesn't work. It does happen, but typically when I put something down, it sticks. Another big thing for me is demos. So I always like to record myself doing the verse, doing the chorus, trying to get a feel for it. And a lot of times it'll just sit on my phone for a while. I may have even said this in another video. I like to just let it sit and just listen to it over and over and over to really like see if this is a song, is this a hit? Is this a song that I really like? Is this a song that, even a few weeks later I still like? Now I may go ahead and, purchase the beat, record, get it mixed and mastered. I may go through the whole thing, but I don't really want to marry it until 2-3 months or whatever. Some kind of time passes and I still like it, because I'm interested in longevity and I'm interested in classics. I don't want to just put out something just to put out something. I want to put out something that's going to hang around and sit with people. So that's something that I'm really interested in. I have the one on my phone that's like a demo, but then I also do one in my studio. It's unmixed, it's unmastered, but it does run through some gates and some different things to give it almost like a pre-mix kind of. So I'll put it through that, and then I'll sit on that. And what I'd like to do with that is, as I'm recording, so now we're talking about more of the recording process. Once I'm recording that, I like to kind of section it off. So I'll do the chorus, make sure it sounds exactly how I want it to sound. If I'm singing in it, I want to make sure everything's in key. So I just did a song last night. I recorded a song. The verse intensity on one of my takes was so intense that it was causing friction with the beat. It needed to be performed in a calmer state because the track was smooth and the whole thing was supposed to be like Chardonnay. And so I ended up re-recording both verses because I wanted it to be really smooth. It's a really smooth track. I'll take my mind to places and scenarios that aren't real to help me get into that place to say the verse. I've got one song where it's like somebody just got killed, and so I'm doing a vocal effects. Like when it's like a super intense, high emotional moment, and you know, I make my voice creak, and it's almost like your hands are covered in blood, and it's like, oh my God, I can't believe it. He really did it. I didn't achieve it. Why couldn't we just get the reasons out the way? I know we seasoned. Like, just, you know, I'm just making stuff up off the top of my head. But that vocal inflection, that's what I will typically do to try to go there in a scene and really try to go there lyrically and vocally as well. So after I've written everything, after I've recorded everything, then I like to vet it out a little bit, but within a small circle. And I pick a very select few of people who I vet. So you have to pick people that you trust to vet. You also want to think about who is this song for, because I'm versatile. So I'll make a song that's for the lyric heads. I'll make a song that's for the ladies. I'll make a song that is kind of like a party song. So I'll also consider, you know, who's my audience and try to find someone that I know personally from that audience, and then let them hear it. The first person, I want them to definitely be from that audience. That's really important. Don't care who it is, somebody in that audience. In fact, if they're a stranger, that's better. The second person I want is somebody who will keep it 100% real with me, regardless. Doesn't care if it hurts my feelings, doesn't care, you know, whatever. We'll keep it straight. That's what you need when you're vetting a song. I also like to have a casual fan in there. I don't think I mentioned that. So somebody who just kind of listens to music casually. They maybe listen to beats or whatever. They may not listen to the lyrics like I listen to lyrics. But there's somebody who they can listen to, and if I see them bopping, that's a good sign, especially if it's a hit. Which kind of relates to the audience, the person from the audience, but not necessarily. It could be a hit and not for them, and I still want them to listen to it because I want to see if they're going to bop, even if it's not specifically tailored to that audience. I really don't want yes men. I don't want people to just be like, yeah, bro, it's fire. Like, I want people to kind of be analytic with me and bring them into that experience, and we kind of dissect, I like this, I don't like that. And then also, I might just randomly perform it live somewhere, you know. Once I get really comfortable with it, once I sit with it for a while, I'll perform it live a couple times. And I may change the name, I may say it's a different name than what it actually will be on the album. I may do like whatever, because I want to kind of see how the crowd is going to react. So that's writing it, recording it, and then vetting it out. And then the mix and master, like I said, I'll record it, get it mixed and everything. I'll usually write notes if there's something specific in mind, but I like to work with engineers who are not afraid to experiment and try different things. To me, engineering is an art just like the recording of the music itself. So I don't mind, you know, I tell the engineers all the time, hey man, like play with this, see what comes natural to you, what you want to do with it. And then I'd rather pull somebody back than try to push somebody forward. So typically there's a couple things I want adjusted volume wise, something like that, and then that's it, it's really ready to go. So this has been another Talk Tuesday, talking about my writing process. Until next time, guys, peace.